Okay, I want you to forget what you think you know about ancient history. We're going way, way back to a time when the Earth itself was basically trying to kill us. This is the incredible story of the last ice age, humanity's most dangerous and maybe its most important chapter. So, our story kicks off more than 100,000 years ago. And just to put that in perspective for you, the Great Pyramids, they're only about 4,500 years old. That's practically yesterday. We are talking about a timeline so vast, it is almost impossible to wrap your head around. And the planet back then, it was nothing like the green and blue marble we know today. No, it was an alien world, one that was actively hostile to life. A world where survival was a constant, moment-to-moment struggle against the elements and the terrifying beasts that had mastered them. All right, so let's paint a picture. What did this world actually look like? Well, it was a planet that was fundamentally transformed. You could say it was a world entombed in ice. This represents a colossal shift in the planet's geography. You see, so much of the world's water was locked up in these massive glaciers that global sea levels just plummeted by over 120 meters. That is the height of a 40-story building. This didn't just create a few new beaches, it completely rewrote the map of the world. And the consequences? They were catastrophic. As temperatures fell off a cliff, massive ice sheets, sometimes kilometers thick, just buried huge portions of North America and Europe, crushing entire ecosystems beneath them. But, and this is a big but, this deep freeze also created a wild new opportunity. The drop in sea level exposed a frozen land bridge, and that's what allowed the first humans to literally walk from Asia into the Americas. But in this harsh, frozen world, humanity was not at the top of the food chain. Not even close. This era belonged to the giants. We call them the Megafauna. And yeah, when you think of the Ice Age, this is probably the first animal that pops into your head, right? The woolly mammoth. But this wasn't just some big, hairy animal. It was a walking, breathing fortress, perfectly engineered for this environment. I mean, their survival was just a masterpiece of evolution. They had these thick layers of insulating fat, a dense, shaggy coat of hair to trap every bit of warmth, and their incredible size alone helped them stay warm in that brutal cold. They were, in every sense of the word, masters of the ice. But of course, for every giant plant eater, there was a predator to match, and none were as iconic as the saber-toothed cat, or Smilodon. This wasn't a creature of just brute force, though. Oh no. It was a silent, lethal ambush hunter. And its most infamous feature? Come on, those fangs. We're talking over 18 centimeters long. They were not for show. They were precision tools, like daggers, designed to sever arteries and windpipes, delivering a quick, fatal blow to prey many, many times its own size. It was a perfect killing machine for the frozen plains. And yet, you won't believe it, there was something even more terrifying out there. The undisputed king of the Ice Age predators, the short-faced bear. This was a monster of almost unbelievable scale and speed. Just look at this slide. It shows you exactly what our ancestors were up against. Standing on its hind legs, this bear was nearly twice as tall as a person. It would have towered over you. And you couldn't outrun it. It was faster than a modern horse. This was the true apex predator in a world already full of giants. So, with a world crawling with creatures like that, where did our ancestors fit in? Well, they weren't the strongest. They definitely weren't the fastest. In this nightmare world, humanity was the ultimate underdog. So that brings us to the biggest question of this whole time period. We didn't have massive claws, or thick hides, or terrifying fangs. So how on earth did we survive, let alone compete against these titans? Well, the answer wasn't physical. Our advantage was all in our minds. We had cooperation, the ability to hunt in coordinated groups, using our numbers and communication to bring down prey that was way bigger than any single one of us. We had memory, passing down knowledge through generations, allowing us to track animals over huge distances and learn the secrets of the land. And most importantly, we had planning. The ability to think abstractly, to create strategies, to anticipate the seasons, and to invent tools that could overcome sheer brute strength. So humans learned to compete, we learned to survive. But then the world that had defined existence for over 100,000 years just collapsed, suddenly, catastrophically. And what's staggering is the sheer speed of this collapse. For over 100,000 years, the giants ruled a world of ice. Then, in what was a geological blink of an eye, the climate warmed up, the ice melted, the grasslands that fed all these megafauna vanished, and so did they.
Just like that. They were gone. An entire ecosystem of giants, just wiped from the face of the earth forever.
But you know, the story doesn't actually end there. The last ice age may be over, but it has left behind these haunting echoes, remnants of that lost world that are still emerging today. You see, as the permafrost melts in places like Siberia, these creatures are reappearing. And I don't mean as fossils, but as actual frozen bodies, with their fur, their muscle, their last meals still intact. They're preserved so perfectly, it's as if they could just wake up at any moment. These incredible discoveries have led to a really profound question, one that feels like it's straight out of science fiction. With all our advancements in genetic engineering, we might soon have the power to actually resurrect these extinct species. So the question is no longer can we, but should we? Because, well, there's another way to look at it. Maybe these creatures shouldn't be seen as candidates for some kind of biological theme park. Maybe they should remain exactly as they are. Solemn warnings from a time when nature was unimaginably powerful, a reminder of a world that pushed humanity to the absolute brink of extinction. And really, this is the ultimate lesson that was forged in the ice. The story of the Ice Age teaches us that our place on this planet is not a given. Humanity was shaped by cold, by fear, and by the struggle just to endure. And it reminds us of a terrifying and humbling truth. Survival is, and always will be, never guaranteed.